The elderly, unfortunate wife suspected her husband was having an affair in the inner sanctuary and summoned her family, spanning 4 generations, to demolish the Chome Hall. However, before they could even begin, the hall's doors suddenly opened on their own, and a young, beautiful woman appeared holding a lamp. Everyone gasped in astonishment at the sight. The Chome Hall had been in ruins for 100 years. No one had ever lived there. Yet now, a young woman had suddenly appeared. This proved without a doubt that the old, wealthy woman's suspicions were correct. As it was their first meeting, everyone approached her with malicious intent, but the woman did not become angry. Rather, she calmly introduced herself as the lord who had guarded the fire suppression area for 100 years. However, the old, wealthy woman did not believe her at all. She questioned why she was so young after 100 years and insisted that she was clearly making excuses. "Someone, strip this woman of her clothes," the unfortunate woman's son said, lowering his hand to dispose of the woman himself. But the moment Oda reached out to touch her, everyone was bound by a mysterious force. He knelt, unable to move. Above the gods and immortals, everyone ignored him. "You know not my sins." The woman's true identity was the Longevity Lord, whom the Qin family had worshipped for 1,000 years. 100 years ago, the then owner, pursued by his enemy, fled to this place and prayed to his ancestors to protect his wife and child. The Lord was moved by the profound ruler and appeared, instantly eliminating all blind spots. With a single swing, his young son and wife were brought back to life. To express his gratitude for this great debt, he made a vow on the spot that he would continue to worship the Longevity Hall and keep its light burning for generations to come. For the woman had warned him that if the hall were destroyed and the light extinguished, the foundation that Zhenguang had built over 1,000 years would vanish in an instant. But 100 years passed, and Zhenguang land welcomed spirits whose flames of life were fading. Yet he clung to life by working himself to death. Unable to fulfill his vow, in these 100 years he had failed to keep that promise. Even after the current old woman Tomi took control of the family business, she continued to suspect that her husband was keeping a mistress in the Lord's chambers. To protect her own position, she tried to clear her name of her long-standing suspicions. So she gathered her family and tried to eliminate the Lord. However, even in the face of the woman's warnings, the old woman Tomi paid no heed whatsoever. On the contrary, she tried to demonstrate her authority by smashing the auspicious castle of the year, Aomori, to pieces, and even smashing open the sea route. As the proverb says, it is useless to say anything to someone destined to die. The woman had no choice but to use her spiritual power to awaken Chinko, who was lying ill in bed. She wanted to show him with his own eyes how many evil deeds his descendants had committed. If things continued like this, Chinko would fall into an irreversible abyss at the hands of Fuwa. When his subordinates took down the sign of the Komaiden and asked Fuwa what to do with him, Fuwa himself took up an axe and tried to split his heart in two.